So here comes the conversation part, and we talk about the means of grace. And I thought, when we are talking about the means of grace, the first things we need to know about is what is grace? You know, grace is like a Louisiana seasoning for Lutherans. Do you know why? If you put any food this Louisiana seasoning on, it tastes great. What it said in here, everything tastes great with this Louisiana seasoning. I have to tell you, I was in Louisiana for 1 year for my internship site, and where I learned how this is a mighty system. I always have in my pantry. It's good. Like that, for Lutherans, or for the preachers for the Lutherans, put it that way. When I put that word throw into my sermon, grace, it sounds good. And everyone feels good about it. I feel good about it. And it's like, good, God is gracious. Grace is good. But at the same time, what do we mean by grace? So that is something maybe we can explore a little bit. What this grace means. So the first things I did, because I did not know what the grace means, is I went online and I went to dictionary in online, and the Britannica, it said, explains grace like this. Grace is, in Christian theology, it means in the Greek Christian theology sense, the spontaneous, unmerited gift of the divine favor in the salvation of sinners and the divine, I can't read my handwriting, divine influence operated in individual for their regeneration and sanctification. So that's maybe something you can think about. Or you can go online and Britannica will give you the definition. So grace is something that's what strikes you when you hear this definition. Is there something strikes you or something surprises you or something goes like, oh yeah.
It's spontaneous.
Spontaneous. So this has like, surprise, right? Anything else?
Unmerited.
Unmerited. Very good. You must be a very good Lutheran. Because this grace in the Lutheran church, when we talk about grace, is we don't deserve it. That's a God's free gift. That's what we call it. Very good. Anything else? If not, that's good. That's plenty enough. So, now we have some understanding what grace is about. Then we go into the next page. Now, here comes a conversation part. How would you describe grace? That is something makes us wonder, what do you mean by it? So I'll give you some examples.
I'm going to say, when you do something for somebody else.
Do something for somebody else. So that is a grace, because it's a gift, right? You're giving something. Yeah, that's great. Good. Any other things comes? So I'll tell you the few things about that. So in my previous congregations, the one member who was deaf, and I asked him, teach me how to do grace in sign language. Because I thought, if that's the word that a Lutheran might use. So it's like, how do you do grace in sign language? Do you know? Anybody know? Anybody seen? So this is the way he taught me. So it's like something comes around and light comes. Turns around and light comes. Online, there are somebody doing like this and put like this, and there must be a variation of those. The way I learned, but it's if you turn and something shines. It struck me so much. So that's in one way, in sign language, how you describe grace. That's how describe grace in there. And how about, let's try this, the people who got the pillowcase wrapped with the ribbon. Could you open that one and show that it's one of the example how we describe grace?
For sure, the kitty's not in here.
I'm not talking about that.
You don't want to let the cat out of the bag?
It was really hard work to find out something to fit to cover the stuff.
Mercy, you actually got it in the box.
But I thought of like
Age.
multiple different things. I said pillowcase can fit in stuff, you know, you put all the stuff and you carry it in a pillowcase. Oh, the Santa Claus carry that way.
It says glass, I'm not sure what that means.
Imagine that.
So what is that?
That's the carrier for a pet.
Carrier for the pet. And of course it said glass, there's no kitty in it. Why you put my kitty in there? Because you don't want that there. Because of my kitty, it's very vicious. Bettina can testify about how vicious my cat is.
That's why I gave her the carrier to take the cat in.
I disagree.
Lock her up.
I disagree. The cat is very sweet. I fed the cat while Pastor was away at the seminary.
Retreat.
Yes, at the Welka, and the cat was very nice to me and was happy to see me every time I showed up to feed it.
Because you fed with the canned food.
You might say the cat was somewhat fickle because it forgot all about you and adopted me as its main provider.
My cat would like to hear you talk how that my cat is nice to you. But the carrier is the part of it, have you ever taken your animals to the vet in the past? Do you have any animals you have?
Everybody.
Yes, yes.
Don't you think that the vet is so full of grace that the staff there, even though the animals out there give you the look, I don't want to be here. I will bite you, I will scratch you, and I've seen that, there's really the fresh scar on the vet's hand. I was like, oh no. But they still love and care those creatures. They don't go like stupid and then go back. But they really like, it's okay. Here, there's a little treat. At the vet, they are full of grace. That, in my view, I don't know about you. That's what I think. That is how I describe grace. How the vet and staff of the vet treats those animals. That's the one. Who got the envelope? Okay, what's in the envelope? It's inside. Okay, show to others. Show to the back people. What does it say?
Oh, that's so. Which way? Okay.
XOXO, what's that it stands for? Hugs and kisses, right? Isn't that when we are down, this little hug somebody just gives, it's just like no reason and nothing. It's just like, thank you. It's those things. Or somebody's little kiss comes, it's like, oh, I don't deserve that kind of thing. And those times, those are the grace. It's like the total sign of the grace. So I think I have one more for this part. Let me see, what is it? Oh, who got the Walmart bag?
I had one.
Okay, I need the warmer bag be open and see what's inside.
Well,
It's not the warmer, that's the bag I could find.
These money live better.
it's full of nuts,
What's that?
pecans. Pecans.
Pecans. Full of pecans. You know, in the parsonage next there is a pecan tree that which is just like out there. I didn't plant that trees, I don't know how old it is, pretty old tree. And this year, I mean, they just kept producing more nuts and more nuts and more pecans and more pecans. And I was picking with my great joy and then giving to other people with great joy and feeding my husband with a great joy. And when I look at the pecans, that is like the totally the free gift. I didn't do anything. I don't know how to take care. It's just time came, they produced the fruit, they shared they came down to share the fruit. To me, that is it's how the grace looks like in one way. So those are the things I have an example. Anybody else come up to want to say something about the grace? Or you're full of grace? Bettina!
It's a big bag.
What?
There's one bag out.
Which bag out?
The Christmas bag.
That will be comes later.
Oh.
I told you to give the cue.
This one, when we say the confession, we're captive to sin, grace opens the door.
That would be something interesting. You want to do from the next page on?
We couldn't open it from the inside. We cannot save ourselves.
Oh, from the outside can be open. Oh, okay, so that's what you meant. Okay.
Very good.
That's very good. Yeah.
All right, I have another example of grace.
Okay, what is the example of the grace?
It's when no one in the congregation points out to the pastor that she misspelled wood.
Are you an English teacher?
There you go.
That is very graceful. So I need a secretary for next time. Bill, you're welcome to be my secretary from now on. I'm not good with spelling. So other things, here. So being the minister of Lutheran Church, I'm trying to find how to describe grace to in various different ways because that's so key and so core and so important. So one of the way I kind of come to terms to describe the grace is if you put your shoulder all the way up and with so tight it like this, and you go, release that moment, how you felt that moment, don't try it, bitch. But when you felt that moment, that's how grace is like. Or, Bettina, face like this. Oh yeah, it's a popular thing, a common happening here. This face, right? This face, when we're having like this face, and sometimes in our days, sometimes like that. Not every day, but sometimes the face goes like this, and our face goes like this. The moment, you don't know what's the reason for it, but maybe your cat behaved all of a sudden, or somebody sent you the text message when you felt you're so lonely. Or the phone call. Or the car arrives. All of a sudden your face goes like this to this is how grace, one way to describe how grace is. So now we are pretty good with the grace, including my misspelling. Then now we move on to the important part, which is called what are the means of grace? Because that is the theme we are going to explore for next 4 weeks. Have you ever heard about the means of grace before?
Yes.
Yes. Where did you hear that?
Sacraments, baptism, communion, catechism.
In the catechism. You must be a good student in the
A long time ago.
but you still remembered. So the means of grace is, as Neil said, those are sacraments. That's what the Lutherans would say. But there are, I did not know until today, but the means of grace also the Methodist Church has it, Presbyterians has it. It's just a different way of it. Different way of it. So for us to learn about what's the means of grace for Lutherans, who got the book? Okay, open the book which it said the means of grace in a part. Could you read that one for us?
Means of grace. The Augsburg Confession describes word and sacrament as the means of grace. Here, the word means refers to how things actually happen. We refer to different means of communication, means of transportation, and so forth. By calling word and sacrament means of grace, we are saying this is how and where grace happens. When the good news is preached, when someone is baptized, when we receive the Lord's Supper, grace happens. This means that worship is vitally important for Lutherans. It forms our identity as Christians. The Augsburg Confession even defines the Christian church as the assembly of believers around gospel and sacrament.
Thank you. Very good. So the means of grace for Lutherans are as the Bill read, the word, the good news, the gospel, and the sacraments, which are the baptism and the Lord's Supper, as Neil said. So now let's see what those are by opening the Christmas bag. The Christmas bag. Or the winter bag. So there is the means of grace in there. Show to the people.
Lots of stuff.
Okay, we need more hands and two. Coleman, you need to help out.
Yes, ma'am.
She learns.
You got enough hands to show around? So what are those things in there? What those are?
Okay, is
One
it
would be,
What?
one would be wine and
Uh-huh.
bread.
And the bread. What's when we share the bread and wine?
Then Jesus.
That's the sacrament.
That's the communion, that's the sacrament. And the other one is our
Water of baptism.
waters baptism
And the word.
and the words that in worship we hear and we proclaim the gospel together in the worship. And the Jesus is there
It's all.
in that part. So good, thank you. So those are the means of grace in a Lutheran church. So how many sacraments do we have as a Lutheran? How many sacraments? 2.
Bread and wine.
Huh?
Bread and wine.
That makes 3.
Bread and wine is the one. Like the butter and the bread, that's the one thing. Okay, you don't separate those things. That's a good point though, because that is a very important part of the Reformation movement that the Martin Luther did in the worship Reformation, reformed the worship. Bread and wine, the one, this is important. Then what's the other one?
Baptism.
So those are the 2. Do you know how many the Catholics has the sacraments? Have you ever heard? Catholic has 7. That's where the Martin Luther started. 7. I can't remember every single thing. I think marriage is a sacrament. Ordination for the Catholic is a sacrament. Confirmation is sacrament.
First communion is separate.
Is that the sacrament now? So that will be, now it's 8 then, that's more than 7. Because the other one is anointing of the oil. Somebody is dying. It's a sacrament. Last rites, that's what's called. Okay, so that's a sacrament.
What about exorcism?
That is not considered as a sacrament. Because the sacrament means make holy.
Get rid of that one.
That's make holy, so that it's not necessarily, I think the confession is a part of the sacrament for the Catholic. And what's the other one? And the baptism and the communion, that those sacraments, definitely. So they have more, that's what Luther started, and Luther came down to 2, because we Lutherans are not good at too many things. He had the theological reasons we'll talk about in the following weeks. But 2 is enough, right? 2 is plenty enough to go through. Very good. So for tonight, that's what I want you to kind of something to start thinking and explore. And for your exercise, in the back of the bulletin, there's the things you can work on. What does grace look like? You can fill the places up, or like one of the things I like to do to make the grace acronym to describe to the people. Something I wrote down is like G, really, amazing, cool, and E, I still cannot think of.
Excellent.
Excellent. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Sharon. Then I can put excellent in there. But something like that, it's like the light-hearted way, or I also had gift, relief, agape, that's the loving Greek, courage, energy or excitement. So the life comes because when we receive God's grace, that gives us life. So I've been working on this for years and have multiple options and think about what it works. So that's something you may also think about, because what grace means by doing this exercise help you to think about what grace means to you and how you describe grace, which will be a very good thing, I believe. But thank you for your conversations. That's what that is the awesome thing, and I think God's Spirit was with us. So thank you.